Hello everyone, welcome back to Beards, Bourbon, and Games. I'm your co-host, Conquer Corey, my man Mike.
You're way too excited.
Of course I am, because we love modded consoles here. So, as y'all know, we had made a video where we actually took a PS2 that was on its last legs.
Yes.
And we decided to revamp it a little bit and modernize it. Well, we have here an OG Xbox. Yes, the brick that everyone loves. The thing is massive. You could put a hole in the wall if you throw it. And this thing would stay intact, by the way. But yeah, I don't know, it looks fine by myself. Let's see when it was manufactured. Oh no. It's a 2003, early 2003 model. I think it's the one made before April. So those that don't know, these things have bad capacitors in them.
Yes.
And it's ticking time off. This does turn on, by the way. I tested it. But it has that oh so common annoying problem where you press it and the disc tray doesn't come out because Microsoft decided in their infinite wisdom, hey, we're gonna make our first foray into the gaming market, well, gaming console market, and we're going to give it crappy disc trays and crappy capacitors to keep the system time that explode. So I don't know. A lot of people give up on it, but I say, with a little bit of help, think fast a minute, Mike. And with help from these games, we're gonna do something a little special with this one.
I'm excited about this one.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Okay, we're gonna get started here with taking the bottom panel off of the Xbox. So to do that, we need to remove the 4 rubber feet. So you'll see me just peeling away at them here. It takes a little bit of working to get them off there. Just get a flathead screwdriver, that helps with it.
Forceful, so rough.
Especially if you're not worried about damaging it. But there is a hidden one there on the sticker. Now, if you want to keep these stickers intact, that gets a little tricky. We didn't care about it because we was going to paint over it anyways, or remove them. So I got the T. I believe this uses the standard. This one of the T bits. So just make sure you got the right screw size. These are big screws. So you're just going to see me unscrew the 4 there on the corners. And then there's one under the manufacturer sticker. And then there's one under the model number sticker. Forgive me, I don't know the exact name for it. But you can see me remove those 6. There's 6 of them. Set them aside. And then you should be able to just pull a little bit. Don't be too forceful, but you got to be a little bit forceful. Just enough force, you know. To pull the top off. Now, don't do what I did here. I was stupid, but I was having a hard time getting that thing off, so I used pliers, but you got to be very, very careful. If you pull too hard or you squeeze too tight, you can damage that cable connector. So do it at your own risk. I didn't care. I went all crazy with this. So got some screws there holding that in. I'm going to unthread the power connector for the hard drive, and it should pop right off. Got a little tray there. So now we can start to see the motherboard a little bit, some of the inner workings. Next is the Samsung disk drive. You have 1 or 2 options in these Xboxes, depending on when it was made. You either had a Philips drive or you had a Samsung drive. This one had both, and I'll explain later. So you can see I'm kind of working with it a little bit here, trying to figure out how in the world to take this thing apart with zero planning whatsoever. I'm horrible for that. Mike's all meticulous. I'm just like ripping things out, and then Mike looks over and goes, do you know where all that stuff goes? And I have no idea. So I got the hard drive out. First thing I want to do since I got the hard drive is I'm going to replace the most notorious part in the hard drive, which is the rubber band for the disc tray. So I'm going to take the 4 screws off the bottom. I think they're small little Phillips screws. So you just remove those, and then the housing should pop right off. And then we're going to take the top housing off, and now we can see the disc tray. Okay, so I'm going to pull the disc tray out. I'm going to press the ejector on it to pop it out, and we got access to the rubber band, which is around a little round plastic wheel. So we'll take some fine tweezers. We're going to take that rubber band off. We're going to get some good old trusty Windex. Thanks, Mike, for passing that over. And
no problem.
We're going to just do a little bit of cleaning there, just being careful not to rub too much on the sensitive equipment. Gently clean that disc, but just be mindful of it. This is the most common problem that can happen, is when those rubber bands get dirty, it no longer opens. So clean it real good, put a new rubber band on it, give it a good dusting out, And then when you press the eject button, it should eject, and you'll know when you need a new one, because what will happen is it will just you'll hear thumping and clicking, but no, the disc tray won't exit. That's because the the tensioner is turning, but not turning with the rubber band, so it's not turning the gear to open the drive. And now you know.
That's half the battle. G.I. Joe.
So this unit has never been cleaned on the inside, so it's very dusty, and I'm pretty sure it was in a smoke home too, so you can kind of see the yellowish tint there. So just short of having to put a hazmat suit on. But just doing some routine cleaning here, wiping off the grit and the dirt and the dust, and spraying out where we can. I'm really worried about the fan. We'll see. We'll get to that in a little bit. But back to the disk drive. Just doing some fine cleaning here before I put the band back on.
I love how long this video goes, the more dirty this table gets.
Oh yeah, it looked horrible by the time I was done. So got me back. You can buy those on eBay real cheap, about $5-6. And I'm just rethreading that. So what I would recommend is take a picture of what it looks like before you take the rubber band off, so that way you know where to place it back. That's 101 when doing things like this. Always take a picture. So now I can see it, I'm getting some good resistance on it, so I feel pretty happy with it. So I'm putting the housing back on. Pretty simple, just fit it and put the screws in. Not really a whole lot to this step, so that's good. I like easy. Ta-da! Now we're getting to the rest of the board, because Mike looked at me and said, "You got to take the whole thing out." And I got sad, so here I am taking things apart. There's a couple of screws on the motherboard that you have to have. Make sure you get all the connectors disabled. It's not disabled, unconnected. Disconnected. There we go. My goodness, I couldn't pick the word there. So next is the controller port. So you got little bitty connectors. Just remove all those connectors using tools if you need to, like tweezers and stuff, if you have a hard time gripping, because I have fat, chubby hands and I have a hard time getting in those tight spaces. Just again, if you're using metal tools, be careful. The controller ports are really just a couple of screws that hold them in there. So once you get those taken out, you can just you should be able to pull up a little bit on them. I had to work it loose there. You can see I'm working with it, and every time I'm wiggling, it's getting looser and looser. So that sounds horrible when you hear that out loud. But doing that for the other two as well. Fun fact: did you know those are actually modified USB ports?
Did not.
I thought it was proprietary, but no, it's modified. So got the screws out, got the motherboard out. Next is the power board. Just anytime you're working with a power board, be very mindful, be very careful, because you can electrocute yourself with those capacitors. It is possible, so just be aware of that.
Yes, be very careful.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there staring into the abyss, trying to think, why have I done this to myself? So now I'm going to take the fan off. So cleaning the fan here, just wiping it down. Whatever you can't get to with a paper towel, get a Q-tip, put some Windex on it, just scrub it, and behold the horror that I saw.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah, it was rough. See, you see me rocking there because I'm going through mental degradation as I'm going along here. The road of madness that I'm on.
This build really put Corey to the test.
Yeah. Oh gosh, look at look at those Q-tips. Oh, they're so bad.
It's so nasty. It's everywhere.
I told Mike after I cleaned this thing, I was like, I need a shower. But getting a fan nice and clean is really good. It increases the life because, you know, that dust gets in those bearings. It burns it up. So make sure you do a really good job of cleaning that up. On a happier, cleaner note, we got Mike's workstation, which looks nothing like mine, and he is painting up a special treat for us. Want to tell us a little bit about what you did here, Mike?
Yeah, I 3D printed a resin centerpiece to replace the Xbox logo in the middle with an Ava Unit 1 head. So this is me actually painting it up. You'll see me open my phone a lot just to make sure I get the color scheme right. I'm trying to make it look as close to the real model as possible.
So here I show a little screenshot of the board. There is a bad capacitor, as I mentioned, and you literally just saw me pull it out. You literally just take pliers to that, grab that capacitor, and just rip it out of the board. Best way you can do it. And I got some sprue cutters there because I'm looking for any solder tips that are still connected. So we did fast forward ahead a little bit. We got the unit painted. We didn't really have time to show the video of that because we had to do so much painting on it. But you can see I'm basically going the reverse process. I'm putting everything back in, putting the board and stuff back in. You will notice it has a slight purple. Hint, hint. But just really it's just basically doing the reverse of what you did. So I'm putting the screws back in. I'm reconnecting everything, trying to make sure it fits correctly. So always takes time. Just take your time with it. Don't lose patience. Don't try to rush through it. Just try to take your time and do it right, and you'll save yourself some heartache.
To touch on the painting a little bit again, we have several videos on our channel where we paint several consoles. If you want kind of a heads up on how to paint them. The biggest thing I can tell you with this is that you'll use a lot of painter's tape to mask a lot of the areas you don't want to spray. But we'll get to those later.
And this is me just fitting the disk drive and the hard drive back in. It was really giving me a little bit of fits. I was having a hard time getting the case to reclose because I didn't do my due diligence on properly checking that and putting it back together. So you'll see me finagling with it a little bit.
The whole time me threatening his life if he scratches my paint job.
Oh yes. So I was nervous the entire time, and here I am scooching the console across the table. It's like if I scratch that paint, I'm a dead man. Because Mike worked forever on that paint. It just took a long time to get that purple to stick.
Yeah.
And stick good.
And the green, and then the touches of the orange to bring it out.
It gets very challenging too with big hands trying to get that ribbon cable in there because there's just such a small clearing. But I eventually get it there and get it reconnected. Once we get everything powered on, we're going to turn the console on. Because we removed the capacitor, you do have to reset the date every time you leave it unplugged. So that's one trade-off. Now we're going to actually install the mod. So what we did is we got that USB to controller thing, and we're going to try to connect an SD, or excuse me, a USB drive. We got this error right here. That means it works. That means that's what we want. We want it to show up like that. Heads up, there is a flashing lights warning coming up, so turn it off now if you're sensitive to that. But if you unplug in a wrong one, you get this lovely flashing. So that's how you know which one's right, which one's wrong. Now we're going to download this Xbox Soft Modding Tools zip. I'll include a link to that in the description below, so that way, as well as a guide, so that way you can just follow along. But just getting that downloaded, we're going to extract it and get the contents within. It's going to help us crack the code. I've always wanted to say that in one of these videos. Next, we have Xbox Explorer 360. This is going to be a program that we use to actually format the flash drive and place the hack files in there. You'll see where that comes in a minute. So we're just going to download that. Again, I'll include a link directly to this page where you can download it, and the guide will go over details on what to click, when to click, how to click, which we'll show a little bit here. Now I'm going to launch, actually no, this one I'm actually looking at the files there. So in the Soft Modding Tools folder, we have all the different games that you'll see there. Mech Assault, 007, Splinter Cell. All these games have compatible save files that will allow us to soft mod this Xbox. So that's included in that folder. So we got that. Next we're going to open up Explorer 360 and we're going to select our USB drive that we're going to use to transfer the files. So we're going to plug it in, click drive, click open, and it should auto detect it. Then what we got to do is we're simply just going to move the save files, and they look like little numbers there, as you can see. I'm going through the subdirection getting those numbers. I'm just literally clicking and dragging, and it's going to make them pop up. Okay, so that means they got it. So next I'm just going to close this out, reopen it, make sure it's there, close it again, and then exit out, and then I'm going to safely eject my USB. Now, there's different games you can do this, but unfortunately the only one we got to work was Splinter Cell. So what we're going to do now is we're going to connect our USB drive to our little adapter that we bought on Amazon. Again, link below. And we're going to transfer the save files and the soft modding save from the USB drive to the main hard drive of the Xbox. So you just simply select the file, click copy, and select hard drive. You're going to see me repeat that. Again, this is before I realized the other games wouldn't work, but I went ahead and copied all the other ones. We were hoping to show each one of the games, but unfortunately the disk drive, little did we know, the disk drive that we replaced due to one being bad, wasn't picking up these games, so it was going bad itself. Fun times.
These consoles are super old at this point. It's not surprising.
And make sure you do copy over that soft modding tool. You will need that. So now we're going to load up Splinter Cell, because that was the only game that would launch for us. Good old Sam Fisher.
Good game when it came out.
We're going to click Start Game. And you're going to see a file called Linux. When you press that and hit the checkpoint, you're going to get this screen here. Hit A, and that's when it's going to start doing its thing. It's going to start loading from the soft modding tool and start implementing the soft mod, essentially. Installing. There we go. Okay, it's given a heads up that the EEPROM will be backed up in a folder. You can pull that. Just be sure to read these prompts and make sure that you back it up to keep it safe. And then what it's telling you here is when you click I understand, it's telling you to take the game out, because if you leave the game in, it's going to boot into the game. So when the console restarts, eject the disc, and you should be brought to the Xbox mod menu. Okay, so here's the basic menu. I'm just going to mess around with it here. You're going to see me go into the systems, take a look at the settings. Just kind of playing with the controller there, the menu, because I just love to do that for some reason. But now we're going to go to System and go to the skins. You can reskin the Xbox. You can see here the person who had it before me gave the Xbox such a lovely name. I mean, it's just tasteful, just refined. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to go to Settings, I'm going to go to System, and I'm going to rename that to Ava02.
You mean 1.
Yeah. Yeah, so I set that, and you can see where I started looking it up because I had doubt. I always struggle with that. And so you're going to see me go right back in and rename it to 01.
Not a BBG video without Corey messing something up.
Just like to bring off this authentic. You know, I ain't gonna say it.
Words.
Authenticity. I can't say it. I'm gonna make myself look dumb at this point. All right, so we got that set. Now there is some settings in here that you'll have to do. The guide will cover it as well. Is how to reset your hard drive to a hard drive key to 0. That's going to let us replace. Again, refer to the guide for that one. I apologize, the video did get corrupt on that when we tried to record that the first time, so it's not on here me doing it. But what is me going back to 2000 and loading up Image Burn. Yeah, so there is a in that soft mods tool folder you downloaded, there is a extras disc that you really need because it gives you good stuff to upgrade your hard drive. Problem is you have to burn it at 1x speed, and the native Windows burner is not capable of going that slow anymore. So you see me navigate to the soft mods tool. There we go. I found the ISO, and I'm literally burning it at 1x speed. If you do it any faster than that, the Xbox will not read it.
How long did that take?
You don't want to know. So Me and Mike, we're used to this because this is what we did when we were kids. Yay!
Back when we were young and the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
When the internet was in its infancy. So it's give me a thing there because I had to actually buy a USB disk drive. But now we're in the actual Soft Modding Tools disk. We loaded that up, and we're going to install Chimp. Now Chimp is going to allow us to replace our hard drive. So gotta have Chimp. Chimp's important. So now you're going to see me toying around. So we have a regular disk drive, but you know what? I don't want to do it that way. We're going to go SSD. Why? Because reasons. There's really no great big speed benefit besides the fact of Mike said, hey, it'd be cool if we put an SSD in it. And I'm like, yep. You know what? You sold me.
Got him.
So here I'm installing our StarTech mod that's going to allow us to plug up a SATA drive to this old, ancient, archaic parallel ATA ribbon cable. So you can see me messing around with it here. I'm trying to get in my head how I want to do this and how I want to set it up. And I tried to 3D print some brackets to fit it, but it ended up not working out right. So I got a little creative. I'm testing how to plug that up there, and then you'll see me finagle a little bit with it. So one very important thing, you have to set it to a slave. So on that jumper settings, be sure to set the slave on that board. If you don't, this whole process ain't going to work. And what I'm doing here is I'm practicing, because there's a process in Chimps that when you load up Chimps, you can't load up without the disk drive being connected. So I have to load the Xbox while the disk drive's connected, unplug the ribbon cable from the disk drive, plug it into the SSD adapter, and then run Chimp. So you're going to see me load up Chimp Loader here. After testing this, doing this like 5 times and failing, Mike can attest to that. You can see here where it prompted me. I'm unplugging as fast as I can and as carefully as I can, because that connection was pretty rough. It didn't want to fit in there all the way. So don't be afraid to give it a little bit of force. Just make sure your pins are right. Got it plugged in, pressed A, and then voila, it worked. It did not work the first time for me. I had to reboot it a couple of times. You can ask Mike. I was on stream with him and just screaming sarcasm and almost profanity.
He was so mad.
But we get this prompt here. It's going through, starting populating RAM disk, starting network. So you're going to get some failed errors. I think a lot of that too, well, that's static IP. I think it's network stuff. But there were some things that seemed a little odd. The only thing I can think is because it was an SSD. But it did get us to this, the HD tools, and that's fine. So we got a soft modded Xbox option. We're going to push yes. And it's just giving us a warning that you cannot leave the hard drive unlocked. It's got to lock after it does its process. So that's fine. So we click yes. We're going to click scan. It's going to show us the details of our hard drive, so we can see the main hard drive. Then we can see the Samsung. So it is seeing it. That's good. We're going to select clone, and we're going to select the second option. And I just left it C and E, and then on the F, for the option for the F drive, I had it could take up all the space on it. That's for game storage and things like that. So fast and easy. You can get a little bit more creative and put it in different drives. It's just whatever you want to, and the guide kind of goes over it. Now it's formatting it. So you're going to be waiting a while. Go grab something to drink, call your grandma, walk your dog. Let it do its thing, because I did cut out a lot of this, but it did take a little bit. Reason why it seems like it's going fast is because I sped this up to like 500%, so just food for thought. Last prompt is to lock the hard drive. You want to click yes on this. After it's been successfully locked, you should be good to go then. There's a new hard drive, and it's locked. Security level high. That's what we want to see. And we're just going to go shut down. And now, last thing we're going to do is we're in the menu now, and we're just going to go to settings and storage. And now we have our new hard drive. Well, so a couple things you'll notice. We do look different than when we first started this video. We're wearing different clothing. My beard has grown a little bit.
Mine's been shaved.
I've gotten a little bit gray here in my beard. I ain't gonna lie, this one's been a challenge.
Yeah.
To kind of paint the story for everybody. When I came up here last, we ran out of time. We just kept running into issue after issue after issue. What had happened was when I got it put back together, the disk drive didn't work. I had to swap out the disk drive. I had to, like, you imagine disk drives on top of disk drives being mounted up, and I'm having to change it out. Now, you didn't see that in the video because I focused purely on the successful attempt. But all in all, I am very happy with how it turned out. The paint job looks amazing. The Ava 02?
01.
01. I keep missing those numbers.
Which goes with our 02.
There we go. But there were some things that were a little bit different. We found this Xbox at a local yard sale. Got it for like about $50.
Yeah, it was really cheap. It's been a while now, to be honest with you.
And I noticed the disk drive was dying.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything to the buyer about it because I was like, well, we're going to fix it anyways and make it diskless. In my arrogance and my hubris, I have now paid the price. But before you ask, yes, we did put an SSD in it.
Yep.
Was it probably the smartest thing to do? No. But that's just not the MO here at Beers Bourbon Games. We just say YOLO or whatever and throw whatever we want to into it. But as you can see, it is soft modded. We do have it on the menu. It does work. But it was a challenge, but it was worth it. Should it be a little bit easier? I think if we would have got a little bit better unit, it probably would have been easier. Especially having a functioning disk drive.
Yeah. Fully
functioning, because even the replacement disk drive was starting to act wonky. But you got to understand, Microsoft didn't exactly put the best of disk drives in these things.
No, these things are, how old at this point?
They're old.
They're really old.
They're old. Even the GameCube, one of the most durable consoles of that generation, its disk drives are dying now.
Yeah, it's starting to go bad, yeah.
So if that tells you anything, it's a ticking time bomb on these things. So it was a race to, one, get that bad capacitor out, so that way it would no longer bleed acid onto the main board to try to prolong its life, and two, get it converted before we ran out of options. Like, we had 4 games that we could have soft modded with. One of them worked.
Yep. We bought all 4 that was recommended, and then he only got one of them to work, which was crazy to me. We thought, we'll try all of them out, see how it works, and no, we literally had to go through all 4 of them, and he just got lucky.
Yeah, Splinter Cell was the one. Sam Fisher came in clutch for us. But obviously we got the design there, the Ava 01. Love the design. Great job on that mic. You painted it real good. I do love how the modded light is orange. That was just circumstance. I didn't know it did that. It was just awesome.
It just happened to turn out that way.
But yeah, and I think too, one of the highlights of this custom build is probably without a doubt this controller here.
Yeah.
We did a separate review on that. You have seen it already. That's because when I opened this box to do this project with this controller, I told Mike, we've got to tell people about how awesome this controller is, because it's nice.
It is so great. You know how big of a fan of 8-Bit Dough we are in here, and how much we have crapped on Retro Fighter before. But Retro Fighter has done a great job with this controller. It feels good. It feels well built. I'm putting a lot of force into this. I don't have any give to it. Gig. when you're playing games, it just works good. It's also made for the old Xbox, so it goes perfectly with this. You can also use it on
The Switch works really well,
Switch
and PC.
PC.
The one complaint I had, and I think it's a software thing that they'll fix, is I could not get it to work on my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a bummer. That would have been a perfect... If it would have worked on my Steam Deck, I would have told Mike, tough luck, he's not getting it back. I'm keeping it in my place. But all in all, I think the controller was really good. I love how we had that additional option, because a lot of times when we do these mods, we are limited to the original hardware or the original wireless version of the hardware. This one happened to work out. While I had this unit and working on it, I happened to find out this released.
Yeah.
Which led to me a prompt buying it, because it was like release day and I was scared it was going to sell out. So I told Mike, I was like, we got to buy this now. But all looking back at it, I'm going to breathe a sigh of relief that it is over. This one was a little rough on me. Just so you know, they're not always supposed to be this bad.
No.
I've actually modded one of these before, and it wasn't terrible. But do you got any more feedback about it?
I have to applaud you for your just constant, steadfast getting it done. Like, you were focused on it, you worked on it. You've had this for, I don't know, months now.
Yeah.
And you did a good job. You've done a great job. You worked really hard on it. I think I did 3 or 4 other videos while you were working on this one. At the time we were there, and we just couldn't get it done. And then we divided and conquered this, trying to work on the painting and stuff. And there's just so much to it. It was crazy, but I'm happy with how it turned out. It plays good. As you can see from the gameplay footage, it works good. This controller is great. I'm actually kind of excited to put Halo on this, and I may purchase some more of these so we can play on the couch with this. So I like this, adding it to the Ava series. So overall, great.
Awesome. Well, let us know what you think. Do you like the design of this? Do you feel that this one was good, or
it's too much trouble?
What was it a flop? Do you think we could have done better with it? We love to hear your feedback. Please feel free to leave that comment. Let us know. We'll gladly chat with you back and forth. If you like this video, be sure to smash that like button. It really helps us out a whole lot. And we're thankful to each and every one of you that do, and each and every one of you that don't. You know, even if you watch just watch our videos, even if it's for 5 seconds or 5 minutes, we thank you for taking the time to do it. But as always, I'm your co-host, Conquer Corey.
And I'm Mike.
Until next time,
keep on gaming.